Okay, I'm gonna start again. My dog decided that it wasn't gonna let me make this recording, so of course I paid attention to her. So anyway, boy, oh boy, oh boy, have things been interesting around here. Well, 2012, the world hasn't ended, and well, I know the world isn't going to end, and so do you, because, there's the whole time travel thing that has to happen yet, and it hasn't. But, it's going to, if I have my way. I have done some writing uh, on the 16th of December 2011. Now I've copyrighted this stuff, so don't go fooling with it unless you want to come here and be an assistant or donate some money, because I can't afford the materials that it's going to take to make this machine. One of them is large amounts of titanium, and its byproduct or sister product, tantalum. It's going to require tungsten, which is in very short supply. That's why you have all these light bulbs filled with mercury. Oh my god, is that ever going to be an ecological disaster? And I wonder who's going to take the fall for it. Maybe the power companies. No, it has to be evil oil making us use that stuff. Now, every single thing about oil is our own fault. We get into the car, we get onto the trains, we use everything that needs oil. We have oil burners, we use electricity, which is still using oil. Just because you plug into a wall doesn't mean that oil doesn't come into something, somehow, some way. Whether it's the train that's transporting the coal to the power plant, whether it's the oil that it runs off of itself, or whether it's the natural gas and what is required to maintain the systems, which are trucks, as well as the power grid itself, which is an anomaly in its own right. But let me read you the first part of what I wrote on the night of December 16th. Now, most of you might sit around and start thinking about, what are you going to do tomorrow? Well, I sit around and all of a sudden no, not stupid, that's the problem. This shit would excuse me. These things would babble Stephen Hawking. Apparently most things did, though. Alright, here we go. Voltage drop correction. At the start of gravity conversion and the beginning of electron acceleration to form electron vortices that will lead to temporary gravity manipulation and thereby creating virtual singularities. Gas glow discharge tubes, also known as plasma discharge voltage regulators, will store energy in plasma form. If necessary, I can build a plasma capacitor, quite simply. It will provide constant voltage with no voltage sag. Voltage sag is when you turn on something large and the power drops suddenly because there's a high demand. That's called voltage sag, like when you turn on your air conditioner and the lights dim. Voltage sag. The original circuit is something I must see in schematic form in order to integrate vacuum tube capacitance banks. They are the banks of discharge plasma tubes. I need to know the circuits so I can tie the new system in with the old. It's not hard, not with the right knowledge, and this will eliminate divergence. The computer correction system, there'll be no more variables. The calculations guessing on voltage drop are now not needed. 99% chance of remaining in the same timeline on start of voyage and return. You only need to run simulations to determine steady energy supply, and system voltage drops will be eliminated by a system of gas-charged voltage regulating tubes. They require the power you already create. That's all they need. Cold cathode vacuum tubes. There's no filament, no energy needed to operate. It's a gas-filled tube that turns the gas into plasma when electrified, and then when required, the plasma puts the gas back into electrical form. Let's see where I left off. Using voltage tripler and quadrupler systems, we can easily amp up low voltage, high amperage systems. And DC current rectified by tubes equals near zero failure of components. Extra tubes can be carried, unlike semiconductor components that can fry during a failure from electromagnetic pulses or discharges. The vacuum tube technology will not be affected by electromagnetic gravitational fluctuations. They will also be immune to coronal mass discharges during the trip in case the divergence causes us to enter a string that have serious electromagnetic field emission. Redundant systems will create fault tolerances needed for safe travel. In the system I visualize in my head, and I can visualize things in my head, I can see the schematics, I can see the circuits, I can see how things will go together on my end, but I can't see how they tie into what I don't even know about yet. I can see the workings of machines as well as the circuit configurations. I can also visualize the conceptual functionality of the machines that will construct the parts needed for initial device functionality. The machines that will construct the parts needed for initial device constructions I can see in my head. Upon failure of the primary machine, you will return to the start of your trip. Paradoxically, these corrections will not be needed until I get stuck in this time. Your machine, also my machine, will cease functioning due to semiconductor failure under high electromagnetic fields. Now, here's a good one. Intertwined particles. I should probably stop now and go to video 2 because they're probably going to cut me off and my dog's chewing on my slipper. So hang on. This is TimeTech video 1.